Chapter 2, The Rescuers. The morning after Elena's disappearance, an unnatural stillness fell over Blackthorn. The wind refused to blow, and the crows that usually perched on the skeletal trees were absent. The village, already accustomed to its lingering darkness, felt the weight of something far worse, a presence that had been awakened. Among the villagers, only two dared to investigate: Victor Holloway, Elena's older brother, and Marianne Devereux, the librarian who had unknowingly provided Elena with the grimoire. Both had spent years chasing the hidden truths of Blackthorn's past, though neither expected to face them so soon. Armed with a lantern and a rusted silver dagger passed down through generations, Victor led the way through the thickening fog toward the cursed house. Marianne carried a satchel of protective charms, each one whispered over with old prayers meant to ward off evil. As they approached, the house loomed taller than before, its very structure appearing to pulse, as if breathing in anticipation of their arrival. The front door, which had been locked for decades, now stood slightly ajar. "Something wants us to come inside," Marianne whispered, gripping Victor's arm. Victor's jaw tightened. "Or something wants us to stay out." The two stepped over the threshold, instantly engulfed by the suffocating silence. The air was thick with the scent of wax and decay, and the wooden floor groaned beneath their cautious steps. As Marianne held her lantern high, the dim glow barely reached the corners of the room, where shadows writhed and shifted of their own accord. Then came the whisper. A breathy, distant voice, slipping through the cracks of reality. Too late, she is mine now." Marianne stiffened. "She's still here. We can still save her." Victor strode forward, his grip tightening around the dagger. "Elena," he called, his voice swallowed by the oppressive darkness. A gust of wind rushed through the house, slamming the door shut behind them. The mirror in the corner cracked, and within its fractured reflection, they saw her, Elena, standing at the foot of the grand staircase. But something was wrong. Her eyes were not her own. The candlelight flickered, revealing the shifting presence behind her, a shadowy figure, its long fingers curling over her shoulders. Morgana's voice dripped from Elena's lips, her words ancient and bitter. "I have waited so long, and now I am whole." Marianne gasped. "She's possessing her." Victor didn't hesitate. He lunged forward, dagger raised. But before the silver blade could strike, the air in the room shattered like glass. A force slammed into him, sending him crashing into the wooden floor. Marianne screamed as unseen hands wrapped around her throat, lifting her off the ground. The grimoire, still resting on the nearby table, began flipping its pages wildly. Through her fading breath, Marianne reached toward it, her fingers skimming over the inked words of an unfinished incantation. With the last of her strength, she whispered the spell aloud. The room exploded with a deafening shriek. Morgana's wail filled every inch of the house, rattling the very foundation. Elena's body convulsed, and the shadow behind her screamed in fury as the spell forced it back into the abyss. Then silence. Elena collapsed, gasping for air as Victor crawled to her side. Marianne, shaking, pulled herself upright, watching as the house itself seemed to shudder. The walls groaned, the windows shattered, and the floor beneath them trembled as if rejecting their presence. "Time to go," Victor said, hoisting Elena up. The three ran, the house groaning in agony behind them. As they stumbled into the night, the cursed dwelling collapsed in on itself, swallowed by the darkness it once contained. But as they reached the edge of the village, a whisper slithered through the cold wind. "The curse is not over."